Tonight, strong storms pushing through the area. Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan will show us what we can expect for the rest of the evening.
Plus, Sarasota County considering a voluntary fertilizer ban. We'll hear from county residents on whether they think this will help stop pollution in our waters. Your Suncoast News starts now.
You're watching ABC 7 News at 5.
Good evening, I'm Jacqueline Matter.
And I'm Scott Dennis. Thanks so much for being with us tonight. Topping our news, a very strong line of storms moving through the area. This is a live look at our tower cam right now. Still raining in downtown Sarasota. And earlier we had some rough weather in parts of Manatee County.
That's right. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan for what we can expect for the rest of the evening. Bob?
It's been a rough afternoon. Yeah, so we had tornado warnings, severe thunderstorm warnings. Thankfully, all those have since expired. We're still watching the potential for some rough weather, but it's lessening now with this line. You can see it right there. This is where we would see severe weather potential right there, just around it and east of it, near Arcadia, Wauchula, getting some pretty big winds and heavy rainfall there. West of this and northwest of it in Manatee County, although we're still seeing the rainfall, that threat of severe weather is not as strong or great. You'll notice the twist in the atmosphere. You see how these storms are moving off to the northeast, and this is racing to the southeast. That was just enough twist in the atmosphere to spawn these very brief, isolated tornadoes. There has been more damage to the north of us in Pinellas, Pasco, and as well as Hillsborough counties. There hasn't been a whole lot of damage reported with the tornado that moved through Manatee County, at least Doppler indicated tornado. But there's still some potential, as I mentioned, into Hardy County, stretching off to Highlands, as well as into DeSoto County and South Sarasota County. Although that threat is lessening somewhat, we are still seeing the heavy rainfall. That is not lessening, and we'll continue to see this rain, I think, on again and off again for at least the next couple of hours. It will start to break up a little bit, I suspect, at the time of the game starts for some of the high school football action. But right now, it is raining all along Siesta Key, up in Longboat Key, into Bradenton. It's not intense. But we're still getting some rainfall there. We do expect the rain to get out of here by, say, 9, 10 o'clock tonight, at least a little thin out by 7, and then for the most part should be out of our area by 10 o'clock tonight. And then we'll see some clearing conditions for Saturday. So we'll have the complete forecast coming up. There's still some rough weather going on, a severe thunderstorm warning in effect just north of Daytona Beach. But all the watches and warnings for our area have since expired, so that's a good sign right now. Still some rain, though, in our forecast for a little bit longer. Back to you.
All right, Bob, thank you so much. Sarasota County looking at a new plan for fertilizer.
County commissioners say they'll consider a voluntary year-round ban on fertilizer to help combat red tide. ABC 7's Jackie Kelly talked with people throughout the county and tell us how they're reacting to this possible change.
Passionate citizens are hoping that Sarasota County will follow the city of Venice and encourage people not to use fertilizers year-round. Hands Along the Water Vice President Adrian Michelli-Trask says that fertilizer runoff helps red tide blooms grow.
There's so much more involved in it than just natural red tide. This is all the things that brings you to the fertilizer as well is unnatural.
But people like Alex Barth, who is the design consultant for Choice Tropics, says that a year-round ban isn't necessary.
Fertilizer is very necessary for the health of not only landscape plants, but if you grow edible gardens, things of that nature.
Barth says that there are healthier time-release fertilizers that people can use.
If you're responsible about using it, you can really be environmentally minded and still have a gorgeous looking landscape.
Michelli-Trask says that most people don't think of things like fertilizers being dangerous, and if the local government recommended people not to use the fertilizer, they may be more aware.
It's not their top focus. It's not their top priority. But if you're living in Florida, I believe that it needs to be one of your top priorities because our Gulf is dying and we've witnessed a horrific scene this year.
And Barth agrees that people should be aware of what they put on their lawn, but doesn't support banning fertilizer altogether.
I would just encourage people to maybe do a little bit more homework and see what the real culprits are as far as red tide problems, algae blooms, things of that nature.
Well, this potential voluntary fertilizer ban is still under consideration. Sarasota County commissioners say there is no date set yet to discuss the possibility of implementation.
This has been a dangerous week for children heading to school. The latest 2 crashes happening yesterday at school bus stops. One of those happened in Tampa. 5 children and 2 adults were hit by a car while waiting at a school bus stop. The driver is cooperating, has not been charged. One woman says she was not surprised when she heard what happened.
Actually, yesterday I told my mom, one of these days, these kids are gonna get hit. People drive too fast.
There's no need, if you're late or something, give yourself more time. But keep in mind, there's the little kids out here.
In light of these recent accidents across the country, government officials are reminding drivers that it's illegal to pass a bus when it's stopped. Bus drivers are trained to check for clear roadways before letting students off the bus, but officials are still urging drivers to be patient and use extra caution, especially when driving during school hours.
New details on the plans for the future Venice Safety Complex. Yesterday, the City Council deciding they will be changing the original plan of having a metal tile roof on the complex to a low slope roof. The 30,000 square foot facility will not only be the new home for the Venice Police Department, but it will also be a possible emergency operations center for the city. That's why the City Council wants to make sure that complex will be a safe, sustainable building. And after discussing it with the architect, they say this will be the best option. They hope to break ground by next spring.
Man accused of mailing bombs to some critics of President Trump will be transferred to New York to face charges there. A brief detention hearing was held this morning for pipe bomb suspect Cesar Sayoc. He waived his right to a bond hearing. The 56-year-old is charged with 5 federal crimes in connection with more than a dozen mail bombs. None of the devices detonated and no one was hurt. If convicted, Sayoc could face up to 48 years in prison.
Today, the final and oldest victim of the deadly synagogue attack was laid to rest. This comes just a day after the suspect in the mass shooting pleaded not guilty at his arraignment. ABC's Elizabeth Herr has the latest on the suspect and a global campaign to stand in solidarity with Pittsburgh.
A community still reeling, paying its final respects to the oldest victim of the Pittsburgh synagogue shooting rampage. Family and friends calling 97-year-old Rose Mallinger a pillar of the Jewish community and the Tree of Life Synagogue, where she worshiped for more than 6 decades.
Rose was a vibrant, beautiful woman who adored her family.
Mallinger was among the 11 worshipers killed when authorities say Robert Bowers opened fire, turning a Sabbath into a massacre.
Please use this moment to have better communication, better love, to come together.
And now a global campaign is being organized using the hashtag #ShowUpForShabbat, calling on Jews and people of all faiths to attend a synagogue service this weekend and stand in solidarity with Pittsburgh.
For the Jewish community, this has really an immediate sense of family, both in terms of the way that this has brought our community together, those underlying bonds of family and connection and faith and so forth.
Bowers in court Thursday, not in a wheelchair as he was in his initial court appearance on Monday, pleading not guilty and requesting a jury trial. This after prosecutors filed a 44-count grand jury indictment against him, including federal hate crimes. Bowers faces the possibility of the death penalty. He's due back in court next month. Elizabeth Herr, ABC News, New York.
Well, tonight will be the first Shabbat following the synagogue shooting in Pittsburgh. Jewish leaders across the country will be using their weekly Shabbat as a way to show the world that hate cannot be tolerated and that all communities need to come together. Tonight at 6, we'll tell you what's planned in Venice for tonight's services and what the Jewish community says about the ongoing support they have received this week.
Still to come tonight in your Suncoast News, how big-name politicians are making a final push for votes on the campaign trail just days before the midterms.
And Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan has your first alert forecast for the weekend ahead, plus why most millennials do not have a primary care doctor. We'll have more on those stories when we come back.
Mascara adds depth to the eyes. Lipstick gives the mouth color and definition. And ALS paralyzes the body.
You look great, Mom. Thank you.
Slowly taking away the ability to move and eventually breathe.
Come into a California Closet showroom to experience our quality materials and construction and collaborate with our designers to create the perfect custom solution for any room. Go to CaliforniaClosets.com to request a free design consultation and locate the showroom nearest to you.
You like to pay less. That's why you made Honda Accord the best-selling midsize car in America. Get the redesigned Accord, the North American Car of the Year, or Civic, a KBB.com Best Buy for less than the competition. Like SUVs and trucks? Get Motor Trend's SUV of the Year, CRV, the 8-passenger Pilot, or Ridgeline truck for up to $4,240 less. Today at your local Honda dealer.
Today, everyone is looking for more fashionable choices in flooring than ever before. And G. Fried has responded with a huge selection of carpets, tile, wood, laminate, and vinyl. Installed by a highly skilled team, G. Fried has got everything you're looking for and more. The next time you think about quality flooring, think G. Fried Flooring America. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
I heard about the Dotole Cancer Center through friends of mine who had been treated here and were very pleased with the treatment.
If there is prostate cancer, we at the Dotole Cancer Center will find it using 3D color flow Doppler ultrasound.
And that helped precisely identify where my cancer was and some additional cancers that were not found during the biopsy. I would recommend the Dotole Cancer Center. As a group of human beings, they are unbelievably great.
Where to go and what to do in Birmingham, Alabama. Personalized just for you. Find your sweet spots at alabama.travel/sweetspot.
I was so congested, and neti pots, drugs, and nasal sprays were just not doing the job. I was sure nothing would work until I tried the MyPureMist-Free steam inhaler. My doctor told me that steam is a really effective natural decongestant. With my little personal spa, I am free to breathe. It's the only cordless and the only ultra-pure steam inhaler. If allergies or sinus congestion is holding you back, you need to try the MyPureMist-Free.
Get the cordless MyPureMist at Target, Bed Bath & Beyond, Walgreens, or Amazon.
Come into a California Closet showroom to experience our quality materials and construction and collaborate with our designers to create the perfect custom solution for any room. Go to CaliforniaClosets.com to request a free design consultation and locate the showroom nearest to you.
The midterm elections are just 4 days away, and already early voting numbers are through the roof. The high-stakes elections have big names on the campaign trail making a final push for votes. ABC's Janae Norman shows us why the president is now facing criticism from his own party.
At times this election season, President Trump has predicted a red wave for the midterms. And while his administration is touting the very strong October jobs report, the economy hasn't been the main issue, driving Republicans and Democrats to turn out in big numbers.
Independents seem to be breaking for the Democrats, which is, again, what you might expect for independents to break against the White House and a president with poor approval ratings.
President Trump has been on the campaign trail, rallying GOP supporters by stoking fears over undocumented immigrants, demonizing the caravan of migrants, many who are poor and fleeing violence.
You have a lot of bad people. You have people that are criminals. You have people with records. You have people with criminal records.
The president pushing to make the migrants and immigration hot election issues, now proposing plans to detain families indefinitely and sending 15,000 U.S. troops to the southern border, saying they'll fire their weapons at the caravan if migrants throw rocks. But by law, those troops cannot carry out law enforcement duties and are not supposed to come in contact with migrants. By ABC's count, the president has been using hardline immigration rhetoric nearly every day for the past 3 weeks and is now facing criticism from within his own party.
We all know what's happening. It's all about revving up the base and using fear to stimulate people coming out at the polls.
Already more than 27 million early votes have been cast. That's more than 7 million more early votes than back in the 2014 midterms. And among those early voters, President Trump and the First Lady. Janae Norman, ABC News, Washington.
Well, Early voting ends tomorrow in both Sarasota and Manatee counties. Your next chance to vote after that is on Election Day on Tuesday. Thousands of people have cast their ballot since early voting started on October 22nd. If you have not cast your vote early, you still have time left. Polls close tonight at 6:30 p.m. and reopen tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. For a full list of those locations you can go to, head over to our website, mysuncoast.com. And early voting actually makes it really easy. I dropped off my ballot today and not a line, single one.
My wife did the same thing. I may do it tomorrow if I have some time. I think the weather will be a little bit better.
Yeah.
It won't be as bad.
Very
wow,
true.
what an afternoon.
It has been a rough start for this weekend. Really, a lot of folks having a hard time commuting as a result of the heavy rain and the wind and also the high seas, too. Casey Key webcam showing just around 3 o'clock this afternoon. You can see that shelf cloud working its way in association with a squall line that has prompted, I'd say, close to a dozen tornado warnings across west central Florida and central Florida. Luckily, there haven't been any serious reports of damage in Manatee County with that one, but we had a 40-mile-an-hour wind gust. That was the highest at the Sarasota-Brady Airport. It got up to 60 plus at MacDill Air Force Base, and look at this impressive-looking cloud right there. This was taken from sand sculptors out there on Siesta Key, getting ready for the big Crystal Classic next week. And you can just see that intense line of showers and thunderstorms, which was making its way to the southeast. So for the rest of the evening, I know there's a lot of activities going on this evening outdoors. Here's what it looks like. Now we're going to see showers still possible and isolated thunderstorms, not as much and not as many. We'll see just a few isolated ones around, especially inland now, over the next hour or so. But we're going to see this light to moderate rainfall, I think, on again and off again throughout the next couple of hours. I think by 7 o'clock we should see not as much widespread rain, but there'll still be some showers around at kickoff time, I think, for some of the games. Clearing and cooler turning on Saturday. High temperatures on Saturday will be almost 10 degrees cooler than average, into the mid-70s in most part, and we'll see more rain come back into play on Sunday, and there is a potential for some isolated thunderstorms as well on Sunday. That'll be mainly in the afternoon on Sunday. We'll have a slight chance for a shower or two on Sunday morning as that front works its way back northward as a warm front. So it's a one-day stay for the cooler weather, and then things start to warm up pretty quickly by Sunday afternoon. You can see that line of intense storms with the heavy lightning now occurring along the northeast coast of Florida and down south now near Fort Myers, Naples, and Marco Island. They're getting some pretty big storms rolling on shore there. But for us, the severe weather threat, I think, is over for Manatee County and northern portions of Sarasota County. It still exists right along this line that you see right there, right near it and out ahead of it. So places like Wauchula, Arcadia, Wauchula for the most part out of that severe weather threat, but Punta Gorda and into Port Charlotte, Fort Myers still has the potential. You'll notice that the scale as far as the intensity goes, not as heavy on the scale in Manatee County. Still some pretty moderate rain falling there across a wide area. That's not going to stop here in the next hour or so, but you'll notice that we start to see some breaks off in the Gulf, and that's what we'll start to see, I think, after 7 o'clock. Maybe less rainfall around, still a few showers, but the potential is still there for some rough storms and gusty winds near Arcadia, stretching down to near Northport now. And we notice on the wind shear, the markers are not showing up nearly as significant as they once were in Manatee County that prompted that tornado warning. Again, a little bit of activity just offshore Venice. So at one point, the wind shear gate-to-gate wind was up to 88 miles an hour in Manatee County. This one showing it at 28. So the storms have weakened as they're pushing to the southeast, but there's still some potential there, so we'll watch it for you. This is the forecast, and as we take you through midnight tonight, we'll look for clouds still to be around, and then tomorrow, some sunshine, some cooler temperatures, and we'll see a mixture of sun and clouds throughout the day on Saturday. For boaters, a bit breezy out there. Winds will be out of the northeast at 15 knots. And a moderate chop in the bays and inland waters. The extended forecast then calling for some sunshine, cooler on Saturday. The rain comes back in the afternoon mainly and evening on Sunday, and Monday not as bad. We'll see a slight chance for showers. Looks good for Election Day. Partly cloudy skies and a bit warmer, 85. Back to you.
All right, Bob, thank you so much. And first alert traffic. We're seeing some backups on I-75 tonight in Sarasota County. The left southbound lane is blocked due to a crash near the Clark Road exit. And then the northbound lane's also slow going. This is between Clark and University Parkway. Jacqueline?
Thanks, Scott. In health news tonight, a recall alert for a popular blood pressure medication. The Food and Drug Administration is recalling the blood pressure drug irbesartan for a potential cancer risk due to contamination. The FDA says that drug may contain a chemical used in gasoline as a stabilizer, particularly rocket fuel. That chemical also is a byproduct of manufacturing some pesticides and fish. Well, many young Americans are opting to get their health care from urgent care centers and retail health clinics rather than primary care doctors. Millennials are passing up visits to primary care offices in search of shorter wait times, virtual health care, and clearer pricing models. A survey by the Kaiser Family Foundation found that 45% of 18 to 29-year-olds and 28% of 30 to 40-year-olds did not have a primary care provider. Coming up, a night of spooky fun becomes a terrifying ordeal for a shuttle bus full of passengers. Why they thought they were getting kidnapped. Coming up next.
Enjoy fine wine and great foods, all while supporting a great cause. It's the 17th annual Suncoast Food and Wine Fest, happening Saturday, November 10th from 1 to 4 p.m. at the Premier Sports Campus in Lakewood Ranch. Taste hundreds of wines from around the world and sample great food from the area's finest restaurants. All proceeds go to local charities and Rotary projects. For tickets and information, visit suncoastfoodandwinefest.com.
Helping families with mesothelioma is all we do. My firm has been offering a free book on mesothelioma for over 10 years. Since that time, hundreds of people with mesothelioma have trusted us to represent them. We have local offices throughout the U.S. and there is no risk to you. Mesothelioma really is all we do.
Call us at 1-800-485-6000. That's 1-800-485-6000.
Or go to mesoonlylaw.com.
This is an important message for anyone with Medicare. You may be eligible for an all-in-one Medicare plan that combines hospital, medical, and prescription drug coverage together with extra benefits that may include dental, vision, hearing aids, and much more. Some of these plans have a $0 monthly premium regardless of your income. That's right. For one low plan premium, or in some cases a $0 premium, you may be able to get coverage for your hospital visits, doctor appointments, prescription drugs, routine dental care, eyeglasses and contact lenses, hearing aids, and possibly more. Today may be the first time you've heard about this type of Medicare plan. The advisors at the Medicare.com helpline are licensed insurance agents who will explain more when you call. Call now to see if you qualify. Call the number on your screen now. Call now to see if you qualify for these benefits. You worked hard for your Medicare. Now is the time for your Medicare to work hard for you. Not affiliated with or acting on behalf of any government agency or program.
On the next Black Almanac.
Children and elderly cut down at houses of worship, terrorist acts of violence perpetrated by Americans against Americans. The images of late are familiar because we've seen these tragedies before. Can we disagree and advance political platforms civilly?
Sunday morning at 7:30 on ABC 7.
For more than 100 years, American Humane Association has been teaching kids to be kind to animals. Those in our homes, on the farms, on the silver screen, and wildlife conservation, caring for the world's vanishing creatures. But we can't do it alone. Visit kindness100.org to find ways to teach kids how they can make a more caring, compassionate, and humane world for all of us.
Growing up, my mom was afraid of the water, something she did not want me to feel.
So I enrolled Missy in swim lessons.
It changed my life.
Missy Franklin.
And now you can do the same for someone that you love.
There's nothing more precious than your child's well-being.
So act now, before it's too late.
Make us swim! I'm glad I did.
Thanks, Mom. Visit usaswimmingfoundation.org to find, get, or give a swim lesson.
Passengers on a shuttle bus that was supposed to take them on a 5-minute ride to a Halloween event ended up experiencing real terror. ABC's Natalie Brunell explains.
It was supposed to be a night of spooky fun, but it soon became a terrifying ordeal. A shuttle bus full of passengers on their way to a Halloween event in Long Beach say they thought they were being kidnapped when their bus driver took them in the wrong direction and wouldn't stop.
He wasn't responding to anybody, and I was like, we're getting kidnapped.
According to authorities, the driver, 60-year-old James Lee, took a detour to get around a stopped train.
We were trying to get the bus driver's attention. The bus driver was not listening at all, and we were trying to figure out what was going on.
What should have been a 10-minute ride taking more than a half hour. Passengers pleading with the driver to let them out.
Dude, I'm opening the door. Open the door. Dude, this is a safety door. You're not listening.
I stood up with him, and he just whipped around and nailed me in the stomach and knocked me back into a seat.
Some passengers calling 911, others looking for any way to get off the bus.
People start opening up the windows and everybody starts jumping out and clamoring and just wedging in like a panic.
The driver eventually opening the door, letting everyone else off the bus. After his arrest, Lee told police he was simply lost and disoriented by street closures. But while many passengers feared they were being kidnapped, the Long Beach police tweeting, quote, "Last night's bus incident was not a kidnapping and is only being investigated as a battery between driver and single passenger." All of the passengers have been given full refunds. Natalie Brunell, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Well, still to come on your Suncoast News, Sarasota County's new efforts to make sure every student has access to mental health care.
And where a popular Venice Festival will be located this weekend due to the chaos of downtown construction.
Come into a California Closet showroom to experience our quality materials and construction and collaborate with our designers to create the perfect custom solution for any room. Go to CaliforniaClosets.com to request a free design consultation and locate the showroom nearest to you.
Today, everyone is looking for carpeting that lasts longer. G. Fried has you covered with Karastan. With a legacy of quality and integrity, we provide you with a huge selection of Karastan carpets with exclusive lifetime limited warranties. All installed by our highly skilled, highly knowledgeable team. Come ask us why Karastan is the best and most durable. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
This is the story of a boy who is very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. It made him feel uncomfortable. One day, he found out he had something called autism. His family got him help, and slowly, he learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Blue 32! Blue 32! Hut hut! It's the Gettle Gridiron Challenge. The game's on to sell 2,000 vehicles. 12 teams compete for the #1 spot. Score a great deal at every Gettle dealership. Buy with 0 down. Make no payments for 90 days. Choose from 14 of your favorite brands, all on sale. Who will make it to the end zone? You decide. Rush to a Gettle location near you or visit Gettle.com.
Gettle's got it.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes? B, console her?
Don't worry, sweetie. This is gonna happen a lot.
Or C, find her a new boyfriend?
Nice, single boys. That was weird.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
This is an important message for anyone with Medicare. You may be eligible for an all-in-one Medicare plan that combines hospital, medical, and prescription drug coverage together with extra benefits that may include dental, vision, hearing aids, and much more. Some of these plans have a $0 monthly premium regardless of your income. That's right. For one low plan premium, or in some cases a $0 premium, you may be able to get coverage for your hospital visits, doctor appointments, prescription drugs, routine dental care, eyeglasses and contact lenses, hearing aids, and possibly more. Today may be the first time you've heard about this type of Medicare plan. The advisors at the Medicare.com helpline are licensed insurance agents who will explain more when you call. Call now to see if you qualify. Call the number on your screen now. Call now to see if you qualify for these benefits. You worked hard for your Medicare. Now is the time for your Medicare to work hard for you. Not affiliated with or acting on behalf of any government agency or program.
Come into a California Closet showroom to experience our quality materials and construction and collaborate with our designers to create the perfect custom solution for any room. Go to CaliforniaClosets.com to request a free design consultation and locate the showroom nearest to you.